Morning.
Good morning.
I'm laughing because we just peeked at the camera and Carrie noticed her head's not in the frame when she sits all the way up.
Oh, wow.
Which is very unusual because Carrie's a very small person.
I'll just sit back.
Yeah.
But if I sit back, I'm away from here.
You look taller than me.
Yes, I'm taller than Bubby.
No, not remotely. Today's show, for everyone watching, the 3 invisible enemies inside your head that keep you stuck. And how to get rid of them. This is good. This is big. This is monumental. This is massive. This is largesse.
Good morning, Zion Sterling Cohen.
Yes.
I believe, sorry, I just mean to cut you off. I believe Zion is one of Elisa's sons.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm looking at his picture, and I know what her son's hair looks like.
You got great hair,
So,
man.
Zion, if that's you, and if I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Yes.
But welcome to our show.
Good morning. Zion, how old are you? I love it.
It's awesome.
Good morning, Brian Sakowitz, Tiffany Maxim, Papa Draps.
Gerald Leblanc.
LeBlanc, the white.
Leblanc.
The
That is
white.
right.
I'm very French.
You're so French.
Gerald, you missed our talk about French
Oh,
last
that's
night
right.
on Brian and Carrie in the morning at night.
That's right.
It was fun because I love French people. I love French.
Zion, okay, there we go.
Are we back?
We're back.
Okay, because Carrie's phone just rang.
That was really weird.
And, man, are we back, though? I think we're back. I think we're back normal style again. Can you still see us out there?
What?
So, Crew Nation with the musculation. Well done there, Brian.
You should have seen the
Caitlin.
post that Brian posted yesterday. He went and
Oh,
found
yeah?
a poster that was about musculation.
Yes. Love it. So, okay, it looks like everybody's still here.
Yeah, we're good.
Guys, we're sorry. Carrie's phone just rang. I just did something funky.
It's fucked up Friday.
It's-
Oh! Sorry.
Why are we laughing?
Sorry,
Why are we-
Zion.
I think Eliza would tell him that
I agree.
we have a tendency of swearing.
There we go.
So it's okay.
Okay.
All right. So I think we're back.
We're back.
And for everyone just getting here or just kind of wondering if we're okay, today's show, the 3 invisible enemies inside your head and that keep you stuck and how to get rid of them. And Chloe Stevens is here, which makes me want to say, all right. All right, Chloe, all right. I'm going to tell the all right story in a second.
So I just really want to quickly say
Yes.
that I'm really glad that we're talking about this because we received a message last night. I'm obviously not going to mention from who, but we
Yes.
actually received a message last night from someone who falls into the pretender category based on what she explained to us. So she's going to be able to relate to this, but everybody's
that.
going to be able to relate to this. What are you doing?
Carrie has to fix the monitor because I went and fucked it up again.
Stop touching the monitor.
Good morning, everyone. Joe Staffahooker's here. I love that Joe just chimes in and says, "What up, crew?"
What up, crew?
Because this is Brian and Carrie in the morning, and you are Crew Nation.
Crew
Yes!
Nation. I love it.
Today's episode, the 3 invisible enemies inside your head that keep you stuck, and how to get rid of them. Okay, so, where's the clock?
It's behind your computer. That's why I was telling you before I couldn't see it.
This is tantamount
It
to
is one
Fucked Up Friday. We have 8 minutes left in our pre-show. We're going to get rolling at 10 a.m. I'm going to tell a story first, one that hopefully Carrie's phone doesn't ring, I don't lose the clock, and the monitor doesn't break,
Don't
although
touch
it
the
looks like
monitor.
we're frozen right now.
It's, you know what, we're also having, there's a massive amount of cloud coverage going on today in the
Yes.
mountains because there's a rain. So, it might be that.
I don't even know if you guys are still here. Is everyone still here? Good morning, Elisa. Lisa, Arsenault, everyone's still here. Morning, Mama Dra. Oh my God. The monitor just broke again.
He keeps pushing the wrong button.
I keep pushing the right button. The monitor's broken. Oh, it's gonna be one of those days.
So you keep pushing this button right here. It says share.
I don't want to share
And you
it.
don't realize that you're pushing it. So that's why.
All right. Okay. So wait, is everyone here?
My internet's not having it this morning. Apparently,
Oh my
Tiffany's
God.
He did it again on the monitor.
Are you guys still there?
Look what happened.
Yeah, it just goes blank. Can someone comment? Say, oh, we're here. Okay, Cecily says it's all good. Thank you. Well, then I'm going to tell a story. First, I'm going to say in about 6 minutes when we get started, today's topic is the 3 invisible enemies inside your head that keep you stuck and how to get rid of them. And I agree with Gerald who says just leave this to Carrie, Brian. I'm in full agreement, sir.
When it comes, everybody seems to be having some, like, there's a worldwide internet
Yes.
epidemic today.
The internets are broken, perhaps.
So-
Zoe's here, Yoli's here, Cecily's still here, Caitlin's still here. Keep saying the broadcast is interrupted. It might be an internet thing today, y'all. We're having some weather here in Mount Tremblant. It's actually a very nice day. It's warm, but it's raining and it's overcast and there's thunder showers kind of going through the area. So
You know, my biggest concern.
Lisa's here. Angela's here.
I know you're going to go on and tell your story about all right, but can I tell you what my biggest concern is? Is that this topic is like this topic.
Yeah.
And if the internet keeps cutting out, we're going to lose the actual core content.
Here's what we're going to do. If the internet keeps interrupting us, we're going to do the show tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll kind of just, hang.
Tiffany says, Brian, keeps your hands to yourself. Brian Sackwood says he might still be here.
For the record, you can put your hands on me.
Yes.
Don't touch the monitor.
All right. But I have to do things.
No, I'll take care of the things. Just
Here? Look at you. Having trouble. Same way I did. Here's my quick story. We were in, Michelle Lee's here. I'm here, crew. We were in Liverpool, United Kingdom.
Which still makes me go, ugh, from our experience.
Why?
On Saturday night.
Oh, because Emma Probert got us all drunk.
Yeah, we told
Chloe
her.
Stevens was there. She probably was a co-conspirator.
She was also equally drunk.
Are we allowed to say that?
Of course we are.
What if Chloe has an image and no one ever thinks she drinks?
There is a picture on Facebook of me, Emma, and Chloe lying on our couch with our feet in the air. I think people know that Chloe was drunk.
That's a good point, but I'm going to amend the story because it was not lying on our couch. It was lying on the couch in the middle of a bar.
Crew, this is what happened.
So there was no discreet about this. We were drunk. Because Emma and Chloe got us drunk in the middle of a bar in Liverpool, and somehow, some way, Emma, Carrie, and Chloe all decided to take off their heels and put their feet in the air.
No idea how that happened. Anyways, so you want to tell the story about All Right, because it's actually a great story.
Wait, I'm going to blow my eyelash off the monitor. That was the problem, probably. The monitor was... My eyelash was giving it bad juju. Okay, so we were in Liverpool. We were doing a show. It was a really nice, intimate event.
It was a great
right?
event.
And as is customary when we teach or we have a show, I always go for a walk first thing in the morning. Around 6 a.m., doesn't matter where we are in the world, I just leave the hotel and I go for a nice walk. It's a cleansing moment for me. It's a little bit of silence, a little bit of solitude. I just collect myself. And if I were to be brutally honest, what I do, and I'm being dead serious, is I remind myself very intentionally that people have paid and traveled to come and see what we have to say. And that my obligation that day is to deliver service that equates to their investment. I want to give them a world-class experience. That's not pressure for me. That is a grounding moment where I remind myself of my obligation here on earth and to humanity. So, that being said, I'm a very... what am I in the morning? I'm buoyant. I'm bubbly.
He's like a puppy. He's like a golden retriever
who
just woke up.
Yeah, I wake up happy. I wake up, let's go. I'm like, oh, Carrie, it's Tuesday. Right? Carrie doesn't wake up quite that way. But anyways.
I wake up happy but quiet.
Very happy and very cuddly but quiet. So I'm on this walk at around 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm in my usual, like, pep in my step kind of thing. And I come across this guy who's walking the other way on the sidewalk, right? And he's looking like most people look at 6 o'clock in the morning. He's looking kind of like quiet and tired and to himself. But I am who I am. So as I walk by him, I look right in his face and I say, good morning. And he looks at me like I just slapped his dog straight in the face and says this, all right. And I was like, I get it. Not everyone's quite as peppy as me in the morning. But like, good morning. And his response is, all right. As if like, all right, it's a good morning, fine. I'm like, dude, be happy you're alive, man. So whatever. My pep in the step doesn't fade. I keep going. I'm all good to go. And I keep walking. And I happened to cross another guy who looked exactly like the last guy. Quiet, tired, to himself. And I'm like, I don't care. I am who I am. So as I approach this guy, I look him straight in the eye and I say, good morning. And he looks at me like I slapped his dog straight in the face and says, all right. And I'm like, that's what you say? Like in England, you say, all right.
Apparently, yeah.
So I go back to our event and everybody, Sandy's like, you Yankee. I go back to our event and everybody's congregating and Emma and Chloe and his, Luke John Harrison, a million people were there who were actually from the United Kingdom. And I told that story, and I was informed by all of you wonderful people that all right is actually an expression of hello.
Yeah.
It's like all right.
It's like an acknowledgement.
So then I decided to say all right for the rest of the weekend.
Oh, for the rest of the weekend?
All right.
It's gone on for almost a year, because Chloe just... Chloe hopped on, and here we go.
But now I love it, because when we were coming home from Liverpool, everywhere I went in the airport, the ticket agent, the flight attendants, the people at our gate, I would just look at them and say, all right.
What you have to understand about Brian, and actually this extends to our family, but Brian is the conspirator of this, is that he hears something.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, like it could be on a TV show, it could be on a movie, it could be an expression from someone somewhere, but he hears something that hits like this point within him
it's awesome.
that he thinks is awesome, that becomes the thing that is said for the next 12 months.
To everybody.
And I'm gonna give we used to watch the TV show 24, and every time one of the guys would answer the phone, he'd be like, CTU Almeida. So every time a phone rings, Brian's like, CTU Almeida.
All the time.
This is the way
I used to answer my phone like that. My phone would ring. I'm like, oh, my phone's ringing. CTU Almeida. And my dad would be like, what the fuck?
He's so funny.
Anyways, that's my story.
I think that the internet has sorted out.
Yes, Amy J. Peters, Recor. Good morning. I don't know if I recognize your name.
Yes and no, you do. You don't,
Okay.
because I'm the one who's communicated with Amy. Amy's in our coaching group that's starting today.
I can't wait. Speaking of which, let's start today. Welcome. It is 10 a.m. Eastern, which means that is the start of Brian and Carrie in the morning. Welcome to it. We are live from the beautiful, kind of overcast Mount Tremblant, Quebec. 5 mornings a week, Monday through Friday. We are live at 10 a.m. Eastern. But the pre-show starts at 9:50, so you should come then, because that's when all the fun happens, really. You know what I want to say next? I want to say we're going to earn the share today. We are going to fill your heads and your hearts with amazing information and life-changing, game-changing ideas. So you know what you can do for us if you'd like to play. Share this out into your news feed right now. Let's help the world understand what today's episode is all about. And what is that? I will turn to my notes. I'm opening my hymnal to page 15. The 3 invisible enemies inside your head that keep you stuck. What are they? And how do you get rid of them? Massively relatable topic. Can I end my opening monologue by saying this? This is Brian and Carrie in the morning, and you are Crew Nation. So where my crew at? Crew. Yes. Right.
I love it. We're gonna dive right in, but I would remiss if I didn't say good morning to Helgi from Iceland, who just chimed on.
Helgi, da fluga booga 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 fluga.
I said hi to Helgi just so Brian would do that. So
yes.
Welcome, Helgi. I just needed to do that.
Nice.
Let's go.
Let me start by saying this, okay? So mindset as a term and as a function has become very, very popular around the world. There's a lot of mindset type coaches who exist in all industries, business, fitness, life, etc. And truth be told, a few years ago, Carrie and I created an organization called the Mindset Performance Institute. Some of you were part of that.
Yeah.
And we created, along with Dr. Mike T. Nelson, an educational process that actually accredited and certified professionals in the life coaching, fitness coaching, business coaching realm as certified mindset specialists. Now, the reason I say all that is today's episode, we're actually taking some of the curriculum we taught to these coaches and delivering it to you for one really important reason, okay? We talk a lot about awareness and self-awareness in this show, and that's what we taught the coaches who came through our program. How to help people find awareness in themselves. It's not about assessment, it's not about analysis, it's not about diagnostics, and it's not about judgment over people. It's about helping them, guiding them into a place of self-awareness where they can find themselves inside themselves, essentially. Does that make sense? Are you picking up what I'm laying down with that one?
It makes complete sense to me.
Yes.
I'm really excited about this topic because I think that this is going to be, we've presented so much information in different forms to you guys, but this is, what I love about this one is it's going to help essentially compartmentalize yourself and understanding a little bit more of that whole, that ego, that bound nature, and how it ends up casting outward.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's a huge important point. I just fucked up the monitor again, which no one saw, but I fixed it. Look.
Stop touching the monitor.
The share button's higher than it usually is. Either that or my thumbs got bigger. I don't know what happened.
No, it's up higher.
Well, all right.
There you go.
All right. Anyways, let's start by saying this. We have talked with you. We have helped you understand that there are two polarizing forces inside of you. There is free nature and there is bound nature, right? And we call them those deliberately. When we're in free nature, we are free. We are in joy. We are happy. We don't need to have a reason to be happy. We are just authentically content. Everything is flowing well. We're creative. All is good with the world. The opposite of that is bound nature. That is when we're stuck. That is when we're overthinking. That is when we're over feeling the wrong things. That is when we're making conclusions about situations that is basically forecasting into the future or regretting and fearing the past. We are jaded and cynical. We are angry and frustrated. We are sad. Those are the two polarizing forces inside of you. And of course, we've shown you how to start bringing awareness to especially your brown nature by listening to what it says to you in your head, how it makes you feel emotionally, how it makes you feel physically, and how it impacts your behaviors. Now, let's go one step deeper. Okay, let's raise the curtain on self-awareness one more step. Okay, my computer's right here, and I'm going to read a little bit from that. Okay, now, Megan, by the way, Megan, great comment. Bound nature sucks. I know it well. I am simply saying this, Megan, to you, but to everybody listening. Okay? Bound nature doesn't suck. And that's a really important thing. Okay? And here's why. Bound nature is a compass. Bound nature is the keystone. It tells us, it shows us, it makes us feel when we're not in alignment. Mm-hmm. So when we start saying, oh, bound nature sucks, no, we don't want to resist bound nature. We don't want to get angry at bound nature. We don't want to push it away. We want to bring it close. Yeah. We want to help it tell us to understand ourselves better. Yeah, and I know Carrie has a shit ton of stuff to say about that.
Ironically, we just had a conversation with Maya about this last night. Yes. Where we were kind of talking about it. I think that our instinct is to hate, loathe, say it sucks, bound nature, because it doesn't feel good. And it keeps us stuck, right? But the more that we essentially, the more that we hate it, what we end up doing is we layer on bound nature on top of bound nature. So here I am feeling insecure, but now I'm frustrated that I'm feeling insecure. So now I've layered frustration on top of it, and then it just builds and builds and builds. So you want to make your bound nature your best friend.
Yes.
If you don't want to hate it, because if you can accept that this is my bound nature, you're able to release it and understand it and learn to essentially navigate when bound nature comes into your world.
Use it as a navigator, precisely. Now, I was remiss. I forgot to say this. You got to stick around to the end of this show. Yeah. Because we are going to enlist you, Crew Nation, to help us pick the cover of our next book. We need you to vote, and we're giving you the opportunity of winning 2 of our next book series for free. So stick around for that. Okay, now, I'm going to read some things. They're very short. They're just kind of like point form. Mm-hmm. There are 3 different categories that Carrie and I isolated and noted in terms of human behavior. Mm-hmm. Okay? What we want you to do is, as I read, and I'll be very, very, very organized and make sure you don't get overwhelmed, we want you to try to find yourself in one of these categories.
Right.
Be honest, be vulnerable, be real with yourself. In our greatest hope, you post on here and you say, oh my God, that's me. Or if you're too, you don't feel like being that vulnerable today, then at least assess it yourself. Yeah. Okay? Category number 1, we call the pretender. Okay? You act happy and successful outwardly. But inwardly, you feel afraid of failure and disappointment. You live in fear of being found out. As if there's a constant blanket around you because you do not want people to know that your outward image does not match how you feel on the inside. You tend to require continuous success almost daily to maintain this mask you have over you. Like you have to do a PB in the gym. You have to get all the workouts in a given week. You have to hit all your macros properly nutritionally. You have to do all the work you need to do in a given week. Everything has to align as perfect. But you fight yourself because you tend to procrastinate. And rather than running your own race in life, you tend to compare yourself to other people and lose all the time. That was the pretender. Okay, so is that you? We'd love to hear your comments if you resonated with that. And if you'd rather just kind of keep it to yourself, that's okay. Let's just bring awareness to today and find yourself in this. Okay?
I'm going to let you go through them, and then I'm actually going to share my story of where I found myself in this when we were doing it.
And me as well. Yeah. You first, though. By the way, good morning to Christine Batista and Jessica. Hello, guys. Okay, so that was the pretender. Here is the rebel. You ready? You pretend that the opinions other people have of you don't matter. But in fact, inside of you, they do. And they kill you when you're not looked on as favorably in the eyes of others. It really bothers you a lot. Even though you pretend ostensibly outside, like to the outside world, you pretend you don't care. Right. You're a rebel. You have this constant internal anger and this overwhelming feeling that you're not good enough for your wife, your husband, your kids, life, your parents, your boss. You're just not good enough. Okay? You go on these crusades a lot where you need to prove that criticism doesn't bother you. Now, the best example of that I can think of is Facebook. I'm being dead serious when I say that, because right now social media is where people talk in the world, right? Have we stopped again?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm going to hold on for a second, because on our monitor, it looks like we've suspended this. Are you still out there? Give us a comment if you are.
We're good.
All right. Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see some comments and some hearts if you guys are back with us, because I'm going to pause for a second just to make sure everyone's still there. I will grab my morning cup of joe. Okay, Kristen Mahone Johnson, thank you.
Good.
Okay, so I'll use Facebook as an example, okay? Every single time I read somebody's status on Facebook that says something to the effect of, well, this person said this, but you know what? It doesn't bother me. I don't care. I'm going to walk my own walk in life, and nobody can stop me from being me, and you should be you because I'm me. When we get to that level of testosterone, and let me tell you something, okay? This is not just, that example is not just for the meek and mild. I want you to look at Facebook notable people.
Right.
The more you see people grandiose saying, fuck everybody, I don't care what anybody says, I'm my own man, I'm going to fuck, who gives a shit, I'm me, you be you, whatever. I'm telling you right now, 25 years combined of coaching counseling, 9.5 out of 10 times, that loudmouth, self-aggrandizing, I don't care what anybody says, is so fucking insecure.
Yeah.
On the inside, it's not even funny. You know what an example of a counter is? When someone says, that guy Brian Grasso, he really sucks. And Brian Grasso's answer is, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck do I care what your opinion is.
Right. You know, I was going to say, when you really don't care, you don't feel the need to proclaim it that you don't care.
Yeah.
You just don't care.
Yeah.
Because even creating energy around saying you don't care is a form of caring.
Yes.
Right? We have people who criticize us, who come down on us all the time. But truly not caring is that doesn't take up any energy and space in our world.
Right.
At all, right? So that's the opposite side for me of not caring.
The last part of the rebel is that they tend to blame everything and everybody else. It's the government's fault, it's their ex-wife's fault, it is that person's fault. They tend to break the rules. They like to be rebels.
Right.
And they love to talk about fighting authority. You know, I don't care what the government says, or I don't care what the police say, I'm going to do this. I've actually seen a friend of mine, and whether or not I agree or disagree with this particular point is irrelevant, but it's an example. I have a friend of mine, she actually posted on Facebook that you know, her daughter's elementary school has the same kind of rules that I think every elementary school in North America has right now, which is, as even a parent, you can't just walk in to the school and go to your daughter's class.
Right.
You have to check in at the office, you have to get a day pass or a pass, and even then the passes aren't issued just out of hand. Like, we've walked into my school and the secretary's like, no, I can't just let you walk to her class. Yep. And like, it is what it is, right?
It's safety precautions.
It's the times we live in, right? Whether I agree or disagree is irrelevant. But it was a woman. Her status was actually that I called the school. They said I can't just come and drop I think it was like a Halloween gift off in my daughter's class. Watch me. It's my daughter. I'm just going to go in. You do what you want to do. If the police come, I'm going to videotape it all. And we're like, wow. Like, on Facebook, like, when you have to announce that kind of stuff on Facebook, just think about the psychology of that for a second.
Yeah.
If you really feel strongly about it, well, then go to your school, state your case, do what you want to do, but that you're parading it on Facebook.
It's a form of validating your actions.
A form of validating, exactly. Yeah. The rebel needs to be validated. Yeah. The rebel needs to be said, yeah, you go on, you break the rules, I'm with you, etc.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
And here's the last person. Failure. The failure. Okay? The failure acts helpless all the time, as if they are unable to cope, and that the law of the land, the challenges and ups and downs of life that exist for everybody, are actually suspended on everybody else because they have it worse than everybody. They want to be rescued. They want to be told it's going to be okay. They need someone to come and save them.
Yeah.
They live in self-pity or indifference. Apathy is an amazing... I don't care. Right, but what's the driver of that apathy? It can be an amazing disguise for insecurity. Okay? The failure looks for guidance nonstop. They never think they can do it. They never think they have the answers. They never think that they're good enough to make it happen. They tend not to achieve what they want, and they have a big reliance on other people to do things for them. So, the pretender, the rebel, and the failure. Where do you sit? And before I let Carrie go, please understand, you might be combinations of all three. So you're going to go and then I'll...
Yeah, well, I'm going to add to that because that's actually where I wanted to start. First of all, Robin Canley's like facepalm. I know this person. I love that. But so I just want to add to what Brian said about being combination. You could be combinations of all three, or you could have elements of one of them. Yeah. Right? So I think that sometimes people, they hear definitions, you know, the way that we've painted out these three categories, and you're like, no, I have this, but no, I don't have that, so that's not me, right? You got to remember that this is not we're not putting anybody in a box. What we're trying to do is help provide you with a roadmap to understand, like, okay, these are my behaviors. Right. These behaviors probably aren't serving me. The more I understand that, I can start to create change, right? Yeah. So the reason I'm actually going to use myself as an example, because without question, I fit into the pretender years ago. Like that was without question where I was. And the best, you know, and there's some of those things that I didn't experience. But if I were to paint the picture of myself as a pretender, God, it's so, I can remember this moment. Like, so 10 years ago, I was in a failing marriage. It was like coming into my house every day at the end of the day was an absolute nightmare. I spent most of my time crying, but nobody knew. Like, so for me, the pretender capacity happened the second I left that house. Is I put on a happy face. Yeah. I put on that everything is good. I remember one time I was going into a session and I had literally been on the phone with my ex-husband and we were fighting, we were scrapping, and I got off the phone, I went into a session and I flipped. And I remember that moment, I was like, wow, like, and back then I thought it was a great capacity. Yes. I was like, oh, this is such a great capacity that I could do this. But in the end, it was actually becoming, you know, it was a disconnect for me. So I was able to see myself and recognize that, like, I really put on that everything is okay. And when I ended up getting divorced, people were like, I didn't even know you guys were having trouble. Yeah. You know, like, people were shocked because I was that good at pretending. Yes, absolutely. There have been some great comments and questions. Jim Kerr, who says, where are we now?
Beautiful question. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. So I'm going to reveal myself right now. 15 years ago, I was the failure. I needed to be saved. I needed to be rescued. I act helpless all the time. I was unable to cope. The laws of physics were more challenging in my world. They were in yours. I had it worse than everybody else. 10 years ago, I was the rebel. I pretended that I was this guy who didn't give a shit what anybody had to say and fuck everybody. And I went on crusades proving that criticism did not bother me. I used to blame everyone and everything. I used to love to affront authority. 5 years ago, I was the pretender. I acted happy. This is when Carrie and I were together. This is in recent history. This is half a decade ago. I mean, you probably remember me,
of course,
right? At this point, I acted happy in public. I acted like I had all my shit together. Everything was great. But I lived in a constant fear of being found out because inside I was so mired in insecurity. I could taste it. I mean, literally, I could taste it. Okay, so that's my progression. Where am I now? Well, I've done a lot of internal work. I've done a lot of awareness. I've done a lot of learning about my bound nature. So I'd say that I really am not any of those three at all anymore. But I am parts. I'm going to tell you, I don't act happy and successful outwardly. I am happy and I am successful. I have no fear of being found out because my life is authentic. It's real.
Yeah.
I no longer pretend opinions don't matter. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they bother me. They just don't bother me for very long anymore. They bother me for like 3 minutes.
Right.
It used to be 3 days, 3 weeks. Now it's like 3 minutes. Something just hit me right. Fucking wow, that one hurt. We get criticized a lot. We get a lot of haters in the world who can't stand Brian and Carrie. And that's okay. Here's what's not okay. It's not okay to pretend you don't care. It's not okay to say, oh, who cares what they say, fuck them, when you really don't feel that. What this assessment tool for you is a measure of finding alignment. So that what you feel and think on the inside matches what you say and do. That's what it's for. Where am I now, though? If I have a category that I slightly sometimes slip into, it's in the failure. Sometimes I rely on Carrie too much, in my opinion, to bail me out of situations that confuse me. And, well, I mean, things like banking.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Things like paperwork.
Yeah. Things
that tend to be a little bit like monotonous for me.
Right.
And then if you look at the failure category, acts helpless, unable to cope, waits for rescue, lives in indifference. Oh, I can be very apathetic about things like banking, right? But looking for guidance, big reliance, right? But the thing for me is that I also tend to blame a little bit. Well, I'm dyslexic. I'm dyslexic. I don't understand numbers. They don't hit me well, right? Now, how's that for vulnerable? That's a guy you rely on to teach you the ways of the world and how to find awareness in yourself and beat it back. And I've told stories about me being dyslexic and how I beat back the odds, and I did. But every once in a while, it does not happen very often at all anymore. If I do slip into a category, it's the failure. And I rely on my wife more than I probably should to rescue me from situations that are feeling overwhelming to me. Absolutely. But we've learned to mitigate that. You know, that's why I don't slip into it very often anymore.
I just want to say, because I think that you know, this is the reason we're all on the journey together, right? Yeah. Because we do not sit here, not have we one time sat here and pretended to be perfect. And I think that the second that we sit in front of you and we say, oh, we're perfect and we've got this licked, stop watching. Yeah. And I mean that like legitimately, because I don't know what kind of drugs we'll be on that day that we actually say that. We are here to be vulnerable and share the journey. And if we put on an air of perfection, we're absolutely bullshitting everybody, because there is no perfection. Yeah. It's impossible, right? So I want to add that if I fall into one of those still, it's still the pretender that I fall into. Yeah. It doesn't happen often either, but I can tell you the exact scenario that it does. So when, you know, obviously we live in a house with 4 people. We have 2 kids who are growing and evolving, and they're on the journey as well. Yeah. So we're constantly, you know, helping them ascend and understand themselves. So if ever there's what I would consider like an energetic disconnect in our house, right? So like someone's a little off or someone's a little hormonal or whatever the case may be, my immediate go-to used to be to start pretending that everything's normal. Yeah. Let's just pretend. I try to like like rush the fix because I want to feel like everything is okay.
Yes.
And I used to fall into that like 95% of the time where I was trying to make everything better. But now if there's anywhere I tilt towards, it would be tilting towards pretending that everything is okay.
That's it.
Of course everything is okay, but that I'm trying to rush the fix.
Right. And these are your small moments of time.
Yeah.
But why are they small moments of time? Well, here's what we promised on today's episode. How to fix it. Mm-hmm. How to change it. So let me start by saying this. If you go to a very qualified, world-class nutritional coach, and you say to that coach, I want to lose 15 pounds, what should I be eating? Oh, have we ended again?
No, it's fine.
Are you sure?
The monitor.
Are you guys still out there? Because our monitor is saying the video has ended. So if you're out there, let us know. Send some hearts our way in a comment or two. I'll suspend. Okay, we're getting some hearts. So it looks like everybody's still there. Well, good. All right. So if you go to a world-class nutritional coach, say, I want to lose 15 pounds, what should I eat? That world-class nutritional coach will ask you a question back, which is, what do you eat now?
Right.
Right? You go to a doctor. You say, I need meds. I need meds right now. The doctor will say, great, what's the problem? Point is, in every aspect of life, if you're not assessing, you're guessing.
Right.
If you don't know where you stand at any one moment in time, it is absolutely impossible to create a solution. And that is the problem with so many coaching processes and intuitive this and manifestation that, is that we are giving people nonsense that is not going to work long term, because before we prescribe a solution, we have to know what the issue is. Not everybody, believe it or not, should meditate. Not everybody should set goals. Not everybody needs to count wins more than they need to review direction. Yep. And the manifestation is not going to work for virtually anybody until you go through some self-awareness,
right,
some self-discovery. And that's the point. This is not a tool for us to assess you. Mm-hmm. This is a tool we give to you to help assess yourself. Yeah. Bring awareness to the situation. Do you know how easy it is to lie to yourself?
Yeah.
Do you know how easy it is to delude yourself? So if you're if you're the rebel, and your tendency is to blame things, blame people, always breaking the rules and fighting authority, you easily slip into, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And so you do more of it because you delude yourself into thinking that you are the leader of some kind of tribe, all of whom needs to break the rules. By the way, good morning, Debbie Hatch. I love her.
It's so true, Debbie. He tells me that all the time.
I love you.
You know, can I add really quickly? I want to add because it's an amazing thing that happens when you start to find the awareness and understand these behaviors in yourself. Like, adaptation starts to happen, right? Yes. It just does. And, you know, I have a private coaching client who last week recognized that, you know, they have this tendency of constantly apologizing for everything.
Sure.
Like an over-apologizer. And I'm sure a lot of people can recognize themselves in that. And so recognize that. But then fast forward to the next day where they were sitting in a meeting, and in the meeting was about to apologize and recognize, wait a second, I didn't do anything that needs to be apologized for.
Right.
And was able to stop that action. But you know how important that is because the second that apology slipped through this person's mouth, you know that what's going to follow is guilt and shame and I'm not good enough. Right. So they stopped that in motion.
Are you guys getting this?
That's the way it works. So
yes.
you are a rebel who feels the need to, you know, post all over Facebook about your rebellion. All it takes is awareness to that, and then the one day that you're about to go post and you're like, wait a second, I actually don't need to post this. Yeah. You're stopping the cycle. You're interrupting it. That's the way it works.
Exactly. And how did that private client working with Carrie get to that place? She helped him find self-awareness in these three categories. Where do you sit? Where do you sit most of the time? That's why we say bound nature doesn't suck. We are afraid of the pain. Mm-hmm. But my friends, you can't be afraid of the pain. The pain is a compass. The pain is your deliverance. The pain is where you find your real self. So when we stand afraid of the pain, we build layers and delusions and masks over top of the pain to prevent us from feeling it and experiencing it and being okay with it. Yeah. But that ends up us not being us. And so these delusions and masks, they affect our behaviors our entire lives. And we die not knowing. How do you get to the potential? How do you eliminate your limits? How do you achieve the goals you set? You unlayer the masks. You take away these delusions. You take away the stories and you get to the nut. And you know what you find when you get there? You find that the pain doesn't hurt that much. It doesn't hurt that much at all. It is simply bringing awareness to the situation. Except that it's progress, not perfection. And then start being aware of where your masks are. And when you see that awareness and you find yourself as the pretender or the rebel or the failure, start being accountable, like Carrie's story of her personal client who stopped the behavior in the moment because he was aware. She helped him find awareness of his apologetic tendencies. And then he took accountability for that by, in the moment, saying, you know what? There's nothing to apologize for here. That is called pattern interrupting. Right. And it changes your life.
And you know, like, it doesn't, it's no magic epiphanous moment. Yeah. And I mean that, like we've said this before, like, it's not about the big aha moment. It's about the little tiny aha experiences along the way that lead to the aha life. That's the way it works, right? So if you are walking around waiting for the day that you wake up and it's all gone, you're making a mistake. And when I say mistake, I'm saying that only in the sense that, like, you know, we want to help you get there as fast as you possibly can and create sustainability and create change, right? Stop looking for a complete remedy of all of it. And we talked about this a little bit last night in your, you know, the whole metabolism of your life concept is like, it took years to create these patterns, these behaviors. You're not going to undo them by going to sleep and wishing it away or motivating it away or just doing it away. You're going to get rid of them by every single day waking up, being aware, being accountable, being adaptive, and starting to interrupt those patterns over and over and over again.
I'm going to go one step further. You're also not going to get rid of this pain or anything else by paying $10,000 to go to a weekend where the person in charge tells you to manifest what you want. Or to put on boxing gloves, even though you've never fought before in your entire life, and punch people to find your inner balls so you can man up. It's not going to work. It's not ever going to fucking work. Not long term. You might walk away from the weekend feeling, oh my God, I feel so relaxed. I feel like such a tough guy now. I can take on the world. 3 days later, when you go back to your normal life and your normal routine, the failure, the pretender, they're waiting for you.
Right. Yeah, you made the point that I was getting so excited about as you were talking. And the point is quite simple. Like, this is, you know, one weekend is not an example of your life.
Yes.
When you go away for a weekend, you're taking away all the stimulus of your triggers. You're taking away all the stressors. So of course in those moments you're going to have awareness, you're going to find like these clarities, but then you go back home Monday morning and you're like, oh wait a second, I wasn't prepared for the fact that my schedule's not ready and I have to be here and I have to do this and I have to do that, and all of a sudden boom, you're back where you started.
Exactly.
Right? And it's one of the reasons on our retreats that we go deep on our retreats and we take you through this entire process, and then we offer you a roadmap when you get home.
How do you take it home?
No one leaves our retreat without a plan.
That's right.
That you can go home and you can implement and you can start using every single day from the time you get home, because otherwise we would not be doing our job.
Absolutely. Comment of the day goes to Angie Olson. The only way I ever found my inner balls was through Brian&Carrie. The other stuff was just always that stuff. I love her.
I adore Angie.
Angie, you owe me a hug. Sister, you owe me a hug.
We should give out like medals to our crewmates.
Angie Olson gets a medal.
I love it.
By the way, I'm loving Crew Nation. You guys are on it today. Great comments, great questions. So let me ask, where my crew at? Crew. Yes. Woo! That was awesome. I love that.
I just got totally like, whew.
I love that. So let's give some take-homes. Are you the pretender? Always acts happy and successful outward, but inside you're a ball of mess, terrified being found out because you're so afraid of failure? Are you the rebel? You pretend that things don't matter, opinions don't matter. You basically are flipping the bird to the world all the time, and you're blaming, breaking rules, and fighting authority, but really, you're an insecure mess. Or are you the failure? Do you act helpless, like you're unable to cope? You're always needing to be rescued. You're looking for guidance. You're apathetic. And you don't achieve what you want because you're always waiting for someone to do it for you. Where are you in all of that? Or where are you in combinations of? Now, what's the solution? Except that it's about progress, not perfection. Start to become aware of when these things happen. Don't just put a mask over it. These are all masks. We call these the faces of our outside living, our persona. Don't wear the mask. Just bring awareness to it and don't do what just take your mask off and be your real self. Fuck. It doesn't work that way. Take your time, day in and day out. Just bring awareness gently to the situation and see how you're feeling, what you're saying to yourself, etc. And then be accountable. When you're feeling like shit emotionally, when you're talking to yourself in a bad way, when your behaviors are not serving the kind of true, authentic person you want to be, stop them. Even if it's just in the moment. And then 2 hours later, you're back doing the stuff that's not serving. That's okay. That's a win. Because it is about progress, not perfection. Yeah. It's about interrupting the pattern and then learning to continue doing that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Beautiful. And yes, Jennifer McCall, as Brian just said, you can be a combination of all three.
Absolutely. The whole key is to bring awareness to it all. So who wants to vote now?
Let's vote.
Who wants to vote? We did this last night. We're going to do it today and tomorrow and Thursday. We have a new book series coming out called Brian&Carrie's Little Book On, because every title is going to be different. Every book's going to be different.
Yay!
And we've got 2 potential book covers that our publisher has done up for us. Actually, Carrie's had a huge hand in that. So I'm going to move the monitor, and Carrie's going to show this to the screen. She's going to hold it there for a couple seconds.
White is number 1. Black is number 2.
Square it up just a little bit more. There you go. All right. Oh, you have to look at your computer screen, babe.
Oh.
Yeah, the black one went away.
Oh, no.
So we're going to get that back, but white is number 1. Black is number 2. What we want you to do right now when Carrie brings these back is put 1 white or 2 black in the comments, okay?
Hold on, guys.
So there we are. They're coming back for you. 1 is white, 2 is black. Which one do you like better? They're basically the same. Obviously, there's a color difference. Oh, they're upside down maybe because our screen's backwards. Oh. But that's okay. Just kind of look at the overview of the art there. The only real difference is the black cover is just that, a cover, and the white cover has a few pictures of us. So we want to see your votes come in, white or black, white being 1, black being 2. Keep going with your awesome... Well, there's been a lot of comments. Wow.
Black, white, black, white, black, white,
right?
black, black.
We have black, 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 white, black, black. I pick little black books. Nice. All right. Lots of both. There's lots of whites, lots of blacks. Joe Staffelhooker says number 1. Cecily says number 2. Elisa says number 1. Connie says black, number 2. Hi, Connie. I didn't even know you're here today. This is great, guys. Debbie Hatt says number 1. Carol Wood says they're upside down.
Thanks, Carol.
Angie says number 1. Lee Patterson says number 1. Look at all these comments. Thank you, guys. Now, here's our next little game. Would you like to win 2? We're going to have 8 or 9 small books in this series. We love small books. 3,000 to 5,000 words. A 2-hour read, but powerful, powerful stuff that will get inside you, that will give you action steps to do in certain aspects of your life. We love books that give us maximum impact in short periods of time, and it's information we can have for the rest of our lives.
Right.
That's why we love the small book concept, and that's why we write them, okay? Who wants to win 2 free small books right now? Here's what you have to do. Are you ready? It's easy. You watch Brian&Carrie in the morning. We love that you were part of Crew Nation. You have no idea how much we love it, okay? What we want to do is have you just answer this question. What kind of impact has Brian&Carrie in the morning had on you? Has it been big or small? And what has changed in your life? We just want you to write that from the heart. No script, no nothing. Just from the heart. What has impacted your world? Now, here are the 2 basic rules. You have to post it on the Brian&Carrie fan page on Facebook. Yep. But you also have to tag our personal profiles in it. Brian Grasso and Carrie Campbell.
Because otherwise we won't see it.
Otherwise we won't see it, and then you are not going to win.
And we're announcing Friday who the winners are.
We are announcing Friday, right? So we have last night, today, tomorrow, and Thursday. We're going to ask you guys to do this every day this week. And on Friday, we're going to pick 3 people who really moved us. And it doesn't mean they moved us because the impact we've had has been huge for them. It can be a small impact. But we love to give and support to people who love to give and support Crew Nation. So you tell us how we've had an impact, how the crew has had an impact, how Crew Nation has had an impact, and we will say thank you by sending you 2 free small books.
Yes. And
how does that sound?
Just to address Karen Roberts' comment, that's right. You can't tag us if we're not friends on Facebook. You can't tag followers. So just be sure to post it on the Brian and Carrie page, and we'll see it there for sure.
Yes.
Just so you know. Awesome.
Yes.
Yay!
What a day!
I'm so excited.
Did y'all love today's show? Because we love teaching it.
I love today's show.
I love today's show. It's some freeing stuff, man.
Did you hear my tummy just gurgle?
Yes. That was awesome. You probably missed it.
Awesome.
Caitlin Graham says she lost us, but we're probably back. Invest in Brian and Carrie with your time. Can you sign them as well? For you, Christine Basiste of the world, absolutely. I also want to add, for those of you who are part of our 4-week free coaching program, starts today.
Yes, in a couple of hours.
I can't wait.
I can tell you who's on this show today that's going to be there for sure. Carrie Goldoff, Megan Crutchley.
Carrie loved today's show.
Brian Sakowicz, Lisa Drapluck. We have some crewmates who are watching who are going to be with us at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time.
I can't wait. And you know what? We're going to do that again. We're going to do it again where we get 4 weeks of free coaching with us if you invest in the Brian and Carrie Let's Eliminate Limits program, which we'll do again later on this year. But for now, you luckies, we get started today.
You know, I just want to say, this is our crew, okay?
Yes.
Robin Camley says, I don't want to win one of the books as I've already won in many ways with you two, but I write something anyways.
Robin, so sweet.
Y'all are so great.
Crew Nation's the best. We
gonna do a little
all the other tribes in the world lost their best tribe members. And they all came into Crew Nation.
Yes.
That's the way I feel about you all.
I concur.
Brilliant
on that
people.
One.
Love you too, Christine.
Awesome. Man. So I guess we'll be back tomorrow. This is always the part of the day that we're like, I don't really want to go anywhere.
It doesn't feel nice, but you guys were great. I hope you think we were great.
And we will see you tomorrow.
We're going to live stream from the gym in a couple hours, so watch Carrie's profile for that if you want to see more of us live. But for now, back tomorrow, Wednesday, April, I think 5th, 10 a.m. Eastern. Be here for Brian and Carrie in the Morning Live.
Mwah.
See you guys then.
Bye.